I was still calling myself his wife months after he stopped answering the phone. Mrs. Miller, the one with wife privileges, the one who had loved him through all his challenges, loved him past his faults and all. But to him, I no longer had access to that part of his life. And to be honest with you, that nearly took me out. If you're new here, I'm Kimmy, and this is a space for women rebuilding their lives with God, not from a stage, but from the middle of it in real time. Let me take you back to where it started. This was the first moment that I asked myself the question, who am I if I am not his wife? I was in a bedroom. We no longer had a phone number for my husband. The response we got from him after we moved was all the way back in February, his birthday. He responded literally to an email, getting the birthday cards my kids had sent him, and then nothing. Dead silence. I'll be honest with y'all, that ripped through my heart more than anything we had experienced in that relationship. Because now, where I sit with our children who long to their father's voice, me grieving the love of my life, fighting myself for loving him so much, and not only fighting myself, but just missing the great moments that made fighting for the marriage so worth it. I missed his touch. I missed the sound of his voice. I missed the laughter. But here I am, rejected again. This time, though, it was on a whole nother level, as though me and the kids don't even exist, or even worse, like we never existed. After 26 years, that is a hurt that is indescribable. And a part of me was still holding on to the prayers, asking God to fix it all, to reconcile my family. But his silence, despite the attempts that we made, the times we called his job and left messages, the times friends back in Georgia would run into him and give him our number, and he would promise he would call, and still nothing. That moment sent me spiraling. Abandoned, alone. This was the first time I realized I was still calling myself his wife, Mrs. Miller, the one with the same wife privileges. But to him, I didn't have access to that part of his life. I cried so many days, grieving, romanticizing the what ifs, asking myself if God healed him and brought him back, what would that look like? Though I loved him, would I actually be able to withstand all that came back with that? And the answer was probably not. So, coming back into reality of my real life, it was still happening. The bills were still piling up. The money was still very slim and still is. And I could not give another day to crying over what my husband was not doing to help me and my kids. I had to put my focus back on God, remembering that it is God, He, who provided for me to get here, not my feelings, not my husband. Because if my husband was the best option for me in this season, then I believe my good father would have allowed him to be here with us in this fresh new season. And this story right here, this video probably would not be a part of my story. And I probably would not be doing this video right now if that was the case. So, yes, I'm going to say it. What I know now is this: I had built so much of my identity into being his wife, his lover, his companion, his friend, the mother of his children, and I never considered that I was God's daughter first. Period. I never thought about how the Holy Spirit was being grieved by my marriage and my family. How could God get the glory out of a marriage where covenant was only between two people and not three? With the kids that he gave us to be godly offspring, suffering at the hand of religious teachings and oppression, not to include all types of abuse and toxicity. I know now a few things that truly matter. And the first thing is that God truly will never leave me nor forsake me. He was there watching all along. And I found that out for myself in Malachi 2, when he was talking to the Jewish husbands about how they were mistreating their wives. And he said to them, I have been a witness of how you have handled the wife of your youth that you have made vows to. So go ahead, read Malachi 2 for yourself. That for me was my aha moment. That was the moment that I knew that God was there watching it all along. But because God is such a gentleman, he doesn't try to control us. Instead, he shows us. And he showed us what real love looked like, and then gives us a chance to use our free ability to choose. God's love truly is the right standard and the only standard. And this is what I know now. Though I grieve the forever and still miss him very much, the way God says I'm supposed to be loved, valued, and healed would have never come out of a marriage between two broken people who had found each other through attachment. My kids deserve a mom who is present, who is focused, who is healed, and who is whole, who brings peace and intentionality about their healing too. Now, I know you're probably asking, well, what do you do now that you're no longer in that position of his wife? Because we're still not divorced. And my answer is truly simple: live. You have to allow God to show you who you are, not the one that was shaped as a mother or the wife or the friend or the entrepreneur or the accolades that you have with your degrees that you can bring to the table, but you, God's daughter, made in his image, not the image of your circumstances, not the image of your failures, just you. And I want to say this final thing: don't ever allow your thoughts, your feelings, or anyone else to say that your marriage failed. Sis, especially when you did all that you could to love someone in the right way, that title don't even belong to you. Saying that it failed wipes away all the years of your love, your faithfulness, your forgiveness, your sacrifice, your unselflessness that you gave into that marriage. So instead of saying that your marriage failed, just say, I did my part. And now you got to let God do the rest. If you're in the middle of your own transition season right now, rebuilding your life, asking God who you are outside of the roles you have been given, we saved you a seat here. Hit that subscribe button and come back for more real, raw, unfiltered talks as I'm going through this in real time, rebuilding my life with God just like you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao.